We could divert that topic and further. If you think we're overpopulated, do you believe in eugenics, or what would your solution be for overpopulation?
Wait, eugenics? Just kind of explain that a little bit to me.
Okay, so eugenics is the selection and elimination of a certain, not necessarily a race, but like
or class.
Race, class, any protected, like the things that you can't ask during an interview, like.
Yeah. Well, so what I would say eugenics is basically selection of genetics you're allowing to pass on into future generations of whatever that species is. You can take flowers. You say this blue flower with this red flower that makes a purple flower or whatever. You have more blue, red, purple, or other color variants within that spectrum of flower. You're passing on those genetics into the future generations.
Okay, and so your question is whether or not I would be in support of that?
No, this is actually just a diverting of the topic. I really don't actually want to
saying
go in this because this will be a long one.
Well, because the only reason why I'm saying is because, like, just kind of like what you're saying, that kind of really leans into what I always talk about is like the whole natural selection type of thing, and I think that would kind of fall into that because I mean, if you look at, well, like you were saying about the mice, how the mice had grouped off and there were those who had access to what they needed to thrive, and then there were those that didn't. And I think that was a part of like that natural hierarchy, that understanding of what do we want to pass on. Sure, we can all go, but how beneficial is that to all of us?
Well, I think the Mouse Utopia showed a difference in the, psychology, because the ones that did fight over the resources and survived and pass on their genetics to the future generations, they did that because they saw the value. They wanted food, they wanted water, and they saw that the population of that area was so massive that they had to fight for it. So they fought for their own survival. They fought for their kids to pass on those genetics. They fought to survive. The other ones fought fought in a manner of speaking to look good for nobody and die
once
alone.
Again, though, so like I was saying about like the whole like the killing off of a particular class or so on and so forth of individuals in order to stave off either like overpopulation or something like that. I think that to a degree it's necessary, but it's not it's not something in the necessary realm that we often want to advocate it, because I think the best way I can explain is something like gladiator challenges in Rome. When you think of it like that, it's like where you want your strongest specimens, you want the strongest of you to thrive, but they can't just thrive. You have to give them a competition. They have to have something to compete against.
When you start the Hunger Games, that's why. Because the winners, have you guys ever watched? Have you seen all those?
I've seen it.
The winners become like part of the hierarchy, right, or something like that. They become like trainers and all that stuff. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, see,
we need to start killing off poor people, is what I'm saying.
Well, see, exactly, like what I, and not necessarily just poor, because and I'm answering this considering that I may in fact be in the ladder of that calling if it ever happened. If we started eliminating class of people, whatever, I'm considering that I could be one of the eliminated.
Yeah, I think kind of off subject, but I think that's kind of the irony of communism, because the people who I see push the most for communism would most likely be the first to die under communism.
Well, yeah, but like with the Hunger Games stuff that you were just talking about, what was the last thing you said there? Oh yeah, you fear that you would be in the poor people category, right? Well, yeah. At what point does it reach you? At what point does your class become the bottom class after you've annihilated the rest of the classes? And so that's why you're always supposed to be improving yourself and getting yourself up in the class rank. And that's one of the beautiful things about America, is that you can start at the bottom and work your way straight to the top. Everybody can do it. It's not something that you can't do unless you tell yourself you can't. Yeah, it's the American dream, if you will.
On that right there, so like like you were saying about you start at the bottom and improve yourself. I think something like illuminating or illuming death, I guess you could say, would be a great motivator.
Right, yeah.
You know, if you knew that if you weren't to improve, you're going to end up in that bottom class. You know, kind of like those racing games where when you get ahead of an opponent and after a lap, that opponent in the back gets blown up.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of it too, is because with survival threats is a great motivator to improve, to advance, you know, your society, to you know, because you look at the threats and you think, okay, well, what do I need to do to survive? So you think of ways in which that you can fight these threats. You think of ways in which you can protect your children. You think of ways in which you can protect your food and gain resources and protect those resources. You think more future-minded other than thinking in the moment.
Oh, yeah. If you knew you were about to get in a fight, if you had two perspectives, like one perspective, okay, I'm going to get up and walk away. This is just a normal everyday fight. Or this dude has a switchblade. Someone isn't going to walk away. You're going to fight differently in both those fights.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I wouldn't recommend getting in a fight with someone with a switchblade if you have nothing, because the best solution would probably be to run the fuck away unless you had something to...
I would fight the guy with the switchblade if I had nothing, just so I could take his switchblade and have something.
I mean, they say don't bring a gun to, or don't bring a knife.
Are we just not bringing guns? Is that what happened?
Bring all the guns.
It's all melee in this house.
They say don't bring a knife to a gunfight, but I mean, if you have your knife concealed or your gun concealed, and someone pulls out a switchblade, yeah, you're still gonna have the fear, you know. And I'm still going to shit my pants if someone pulls out a switchblade if I'm 5 feet from them, you know, and they look like they're going to kill me.
They have poor effort if they're going to pull it out 5 feet. I see where you're getting at, though. I definitely do.
Okay, so that does not wrap it up. So I didn't want to go on the eugenics topic because it would divert.